Congratulations, you've accepted an offer from a buyer and you're officially under contract. Now what? The first step that will happen next is for the buyer to deposit their earnest money with the title company. You will receive a receipt of that earnest money deposit. Next, my team and I are going to order title insurance and engage the title company to start working with us and get to work on the title policy. Once the title company has done the title search on the property, we're going to receive a title commitment that's going to show the requirements they have for you in order to close the property. This will typically include any payoff information if you have a loan on the property and any information about your trust or LLC if you're using that as a seller. The buyer also has an opportunity to review this document, and if they have any questions or objections to what's shown on the title, they will have an opportunity to make those objections. We can go through a resolution and we keep moving forward. The next step is the buyer's going to schedule an inspection. They're going to hire a professional home inspector to come in and take a look at all of the ins and outs of everything about your property, so be really prepared for this. It's best to not be home during the home inspection. It gives the opportunity for the inspector to do their job. After the inspection's completed, we may see a repair request called an inspection objection delivered from the buyers. You don't have to make any of these repairs. It is completely up to you, but it is pretty typical to see that the seller will agree to making some repairs. Or oftentimes we see as some sort of credit for those repairs if you're not willing to make them yourself. But if you decide you don't want to make any of the repairs, the buyer does have the option to terminate the contract at that point. But don't worry, I will be here to hold your hand through this whole process. Once we get through the inspection process, things are starting to look really good that we're getting closer to closing. If the buyer's getting a loan, we do need to wait for that to go through. So we're probably gonna have an appraiser scheduled, and they will come through and do a similar inspection, not quite as long as the home inspector, and they will take measurements and take pictures of the property. The appraisal report will actually be delivered to the buyer. The sellers don't receive that. But if the property for some reason doesn't appraise, the buyer has the opportunity to ask you to reduce the purchase price. You can agree or you can not, but the buyer could walk away should you not agree to renegotiate. Once we're through the appraisal process, we just need to get final clear to close from the lender. Once we have the clear to close, you can start packing and getting ready to move on to your next adventure. And right before closing, it is pretty typical to have the buyer do a final walkthrough to make sure that you're delivering the home as promised. And the last and most exciting point of this process is sitting down at the closing table and signing all your closing documents and then receiving your proceeds. I know this sounds like a daunting process, but it is my job to hold your hand through all of it and make sure everything goes smooth.